So the Mustang configurator is actually online right now. Now it's not from Ford, it is from Europe. It's a German website and they've done a really good job of it. So you can go there, and I'll put the link down in the description, and you can configure the different colors of the car. You can do an Ecoboost, you can do a GT, you can even do a dark horse. And there's one thing that I've sort of been noticing about the dark horse, because it's got that dark area underneath the headlight, that sort of blacked out piece of plastic. And I've been wondering how that looks with lighter colors. So let's go check that out in a second. So you can see along the top we have all the different options. So this is an Ecoboost and ingot silver. Let's change this to a dark horse. Now the website is a little bit slow, so just be patient with it. And you can see with the dark horse here, you've got this dark piece underneath the front headlights, and with this lighter color it makes a very different impression of the car. If I change it from ingot silver, let's go to something like grabber blue. Doesn't exactly hide that too much, so even grabber blue is a lighter color. Let's go with blue ember, which is the iconic color that was in the Detroit launch. And so now it kind of disappears. Now these colors aren't completely accurate. I think they're reasonably accurate. Again, this is not a Ford website. And you can see this is modernmusclecars.de, which is the German website. Looks pretty good from behind. So now I want to configure my car with a different color. I really like grabber blue, but I don't think that's the color I would get for the dark horse. Let's try Atlas blue. I do like blues. I do like bright colors. That's kind of a big deal for me. I gotta admit, that's a pretty good looking color. But you know what? What we have to try, because I'm sort of a yellow guy, let's try the yellow splash and see how much of a bumblebee this thing looks like. All right, that is quite the bumblebee, but let's just finish up the video with this. So I'm gonna take off the front license plate because we happen to be in North America, not Europe. And I'm gonna lower it a little bit. Okay, so let's put it on the low level. I can put it on some lower springs, see how that looks. Looks a little bit nicer. And let's go for that blue brake package that we saw at the Dark Horse at Detroit. Ooh, that is definitely kind of clashing with the yellow. I don't think that's the way to go. Now we do have a choice of different wheel colors here. Again, I'm not sure how accurate these are. Unfortunately, we don't have the carbon fiber ones, but let's go with the Dark Horse bronze package and see what these wheels look like. I'm not totally sold on this color. Yellow is a tough color to work with, admittedly. Let's try gray. That looks pretty good to me. And let's do some stripes here. All right, that's looking pretty aggressive. What does it look like from the rear? Yeah, that looks pretty good. I kind of dig it with the stripes. But you know what? I do kind of want to see it with the Atlas blue and white stripes. Not bad, not bad. So go check out the configurator yourself, but I want to give you some tips for buying potentially a Dark Horse or any kind of Mustang, tips that I use to get a car at MSRP. If you enjoy sports cars, give this video a thumbs up. It's going to help YouTube push this out to more people so more people can see it. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, hey, join the club and subscribe. So here's a strategy for getting a hold of a Mustang for yourself at hopefully something that is MSRP, or maybe you can get it really early. And here's the deal. It takes a lot of legwork. It does take some work. So wherever you live, let's say you live in a bigger city like most of us do. Let's say you live in New York or Los Angeles or Boston or Chicago or Dallas. There's going to be a bunch of big dealers and they're going to have sort of a captive audience. And they're probably going to charge some ADM. That's additional dealer markup. ADM is not a good thing. It's markup. It's the thing that you really don't want. And so to get away from that, you need to be able to go to a bunch of different dealers and see if you can get a better price than whatever the markup is. So what I've done in the past is when I bought my Supra, I went out of state. In fact, I hopped in a plane and I flew all the way to Nebraska to get my Supra. And I got it at MSRP and I got it in the color that I wanted because I needed to get it before SEMA to do my build. Basically go to Google, you put in whatever state you want. You can start with the West Coast, you can start wherever you are. And I tend to start with the smaller cities. And let's say I'll start with Bend, Oregon. And I'll just look at all the dealers in Bend, Oregon. I'll put them in Google, I'll pull them up, and I'll get a little spreadsheet going. And I'll start calling those dealers. Try to find one that has a decent amount of allocations. Because here's the deal. If you want to get a Dark Horse, you are going to have to work with a dealer that has more inventory and more allocations than a small dealer. So you may or may not be able to find that super easily. So it's going to be some kind of balance. I know it sounds a little contradictory because the bigger cities are going to have more allocations, but you are going to find perhaps some dealers on the outskirts of bigger cities in the suburbs that are going to have an allocation for you, that are willing to do something at MSRP, or you might be able to find a dealer that is perhaps in a more rural area that has less allocations, but nobody really cares about the dark horse. They've got a few Mustangs in stock that they're going to get, and they're going to get some allocations, and you can go ahead and order a dark horse because you're not going to be competing with as many people at that dealer. The main thing is you just got to do your calls. So wake up early in the morning, get your little checklist going, figure out who the sales guys are, and be willing to put down a deposit on anything. Now, deposits, as far as I know, in every single state are fully refundable. Typically, a deposit is $500. If that's going to be a problem, then it's going to be pretty hard to get a Mustang, frankly. So you've got to get some deposits in. I usually put in multiple deposits at different dealers so I can get something at MSRP. And that is my strategy. Now, with this car, I did a bunch of calls, and this car was super, super hard to get because they only made, I think there's about 15,000 of these total on the road over a year and change. I'm not even sure. This is a 23 model, and it took about 10, 11 months to get a hold of this car. Now, I did pay MSRP, but I worked with the largest Toyota dealer in the nation, and that is Longo Toyota. Not sponsored, by the way. This is just somebody I decided to work with because they're very easy to work with, and I was able to get it at MSRP, but I had to wait for the features and specs that I wanted, because with Toyota, you can't do any kind of custom order. Unfortunately, that's just sort of the way it is. You got to work with a dealer, see what their allocation is going to be, take what they can get. I didn't want black, white, I didn't want automatic, I didn't want base. I wanted a premium manual because I really like the Alcantara, and I also wanted to get a nice color. So I really wanted to get the blue, the Neptune blue, just couldn't get a hold of it, so I got this red. Ooh. It's not fast, but boy is it fun. If you enjoy this kind of content, I've got another video right over here. Go ahead and click that. My name is Eric. Thanks for watching.